How's everybody doing today? This is Matt, and yet again another edition of Beers and Beards with Matt on this lovely Monday late afternoon, I guess you could say. I'm in my kitchen for this beer review. No particular reason. I guess thought it would be a good venue to do my beer review today for no particular reason. Other than that, and the lighting's really good too, so I thought I would go with that as well. Anyway, now this is going to be the 7th edition of the Pumpkin Anthology 2010 by Matthew Stewart, none other than me. And today I am doing a beer. Now this is brewed by the Brooklyn Brewery, which many of you are familiar with, and this one is called the Post Road Pumpkin Ale. An ale brewed with pumpkin and spices. This one clocks in at 5% ABV, or alcohol by volume. I did a little bit of research before doing this beer today, and I was looking on Rate Beer, I was looking at Beer Advocate, and this beer actually gets relatively high scores, solid Bs, B pluses, from a lot of people depending on what website you go to. And there's a little bit of literature here. It says, in the 18th century, colonial Americans brewed wonderful and interesting ales by using local ingredients. Barley was the principal ingredient, but pumpkins were also used. Pumpkins were flavored by brewers for their rich, spicy flavors, which melded perfectly with the malted barley. Post Road brings you a delicious rendition of this traditional American classic. What I was also reading is that they say, I guess on this road, on Post Road, I guess it's somewhere up in New York, I mean the Brooklyn Brewery's in Utica, New York, that on Post Road, now there is some good smoke coming out of here. See if you guys can see that. Yeah, smoke. No, I probably didn't get any there. Actually, it's a very nice flavor. Very cinnamony. Cinnamon and pumpkin, so it actually smells like how pumpkin ale should smell. It doesn't smell watered down. It smells actually very pleasant, so... And I'm drinking out of snifter today just to kind of get more of a flavor after this beer, and I will pour this here. Not pouring this too aggressively, just kind of getting in there. I'm sure if I poured it more aggressive, we would have had more of a head on there, but dissipates very quickly. It's kind of got a carbonated head, not really foamy or anything like that. It just sits there and it goes away right away. Now the smell coming out of this is rather pumpkiny. You get those spices. Now, being that this is only 5%, you're not going to get that high alcohol taste to it. It's going to pair well with the pumpkin. So, by no stretch of the imagination is this an imperial pumpkin ale. It's a standard pumpkin ale. Without further ado, let's drink. Hoppy. Quite hoppy. I don't know if that's from the spices or just the brewing technique that they use for this particular beer. Nice pumpkin, like cinnamon pumpkin on the back end taste. It is quite pleasant. It's not too watered down. It's pretty full bodied. And it's actually a very nice beer. I remember having this before and being completely underwhelmed by the beer before. In general, beers from the Brooklyn Brewery, I'm not very keen on anyway. I don't like Brooklyn Lager. I don't like the Brooklyn Dark Lager. I don't like anything from Brooklyn Brewery. In all honesty, they're just standard kind of underwhelming beers. Yeah, it's cool to see a beer that says Brooklyn on, especially if you're from Brooklyn or somewhere in New York. But however, the beer itself just is not that great. Now I haven't had some of the other beers that they've had that come in like big bombers and everything like that. I've stuck pretty much to the lager, and that was enough for me. This is actually quite good. This is very similar to the... this one's hoppy, so it reminds me of the other hoppy pumpkin beer that I've had, which was the Smutty Nose. So they're both very similarly taste, or they both taste very similar. But it's not a bad beer. It's not overwhelmingly hoppy like the Smutty Nose. So it has a good balance of malts, hops, and the pumpkin and the spices. There isn't really anything on the label. This is what kind of spices this is brewed with, but I would say it's probably most the same: coriander, nutmeg, cinnamon, probably allspice. Can't really. I'm even looking at my spice rack right here, and I can't think of any more spices that would really be on here. So standard pumpkin spices. But it opens up well. I mean, especially drinking it out of a snifter, you definitely get a little bit more out of it than I would say maybe drinking it out of just a regular tumbler or a pint glass or something like that. I mean, I've never been a big fan of the hoppy type beers. I've grown accustomed to them, but it actually has a very delicate pumpkin taste to it. That comes out very, very. It's small enough that you can taste, but it's not overwhelming. Don't mind the noise. That's my AC kicking on. In case you hear it. Well, I mean, overall, this is a very, very nice beer. I still got some left, but I'm not going to drink the rest of it right now. But once again, this was the Post Road Pumpkin Ale, brewed by Brooklyn Brewery in Utica, New York. Decent beer. I mean, I liked it. It's very similar to the Smutty Nose Pumpkin Ale that I've had before. Even the label is very similar too, because Smutty Nose, all they had was a pumpkin on it, and all this has on it is a pumpkin. So, very nice. Just nothing that stands out by it. It doesn't stand out in any way, shape, or form that it's a beer that's particularly better. I'm finding in my review so far that the beers with the higher alcohol volume are definitely the better beers, because you get that nice pumpkin, spicy, vegetable taste with the alcohol, and it melds perfectly together. So when you get beers that are lesser ABV, like a 5% or even a 5.7%, it's counting on all the spices, it's counting on the pumpkin taste to carry the beer. But I don't think that's really necessarily going to work. It doesn't open up anything special with the beer. So this is what I'm finding in my scientific studies so far. But anyway, that's about it. This was the don't know how to count, seventh beer in the Pumpkin Anthology. I will be doing at least 2 more. Hopefully another one coming soon. I'm doing a review a day pretty much. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Kind of an abbreviated one, but an abbreviated beer. Anyway, this is Matt, Beers and Beards, Pumpkin Anthology 2010. Comment, let me know what the deal is. Subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see everybody later on. So take